Good morning and welcome back to White Mountains Today here on White Mountain TV 16. Joining us right here in the studio is Lisa Matthews from Great Glen Trails. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you? It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
It's good to see you again.
It's always a pleasure.
And it's so sad to hear that there's just so much snow. I mean, it's just, I was reading those reports and we're talking January 7th. Unbelievable. And unbelievable conditions, too. Not just snow. You're talking about powdery, fluffy.
Heavenly prime conditions. I mean, yesterday we have a little tunnel that you ski through.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it was completely full of snow. We had to go in and shovel out the tunnel so that we could actually just get the groomer through. Because the groomer couldn't even plow through it. There's that much snow out on our trails.
And like I said, it's great snow.
Yep.
It's not heavy. It's not, I mean, this is a Nordic dream.
It is. And, you know, Great Glen Trails, we skate groom so much of our trails and then classic groom so much for, you know, you can check out the trails report to get the exact kilometer per day. But those classic tracks are set perfectly. I know our groomers get out there and they make it so perfect. And then for skate skiing, it's just like corduroy, you know, for miles. And it's just, like you said, heavenly.
Absolutely. And of course, you're right there at Great Glen Trails, base of Mount Washington. Mm-hmm. And so if somebody has never cross-country skied up there, but they've biked up there in the summer, well, you're going on the same trails. And it's such a fun spot because you're in and out of the trees. You've got that great wide expanse you can see here in the film that's wide open. But then you've got the great trails in the trees.
Yes, and so you can kind of do that, you know, there's one trail that kind of like loops around and you get that exposure, like you said, into the Great Gulf. And then you get into the woods and it's these beautiful kind of like some up and down rolling hills. And then you can, if you want to adventure out, you can go all the way out to our cabin. We have kind of a warming cabin at the kind of furthest point out on our trail system, the Great Angel Cabin. And it's heated. And from there, you can get another view of the Great Gulf that kind of like, you know, there's a part of the river that's there. Yep. You could hear the river, although probably not now because it's probably frozen. Or covered in feet of snow. And it's just spectacular. It's just a great day out. And there's so much to offer there, from Nordic skiing to snowshoeing. You can snowshoe on some of the backcountry trails. Yep. We also have snow tubing and you know, of course, the Mount Washington snowcoach, which is an experience in and of itself.
So there's so much to do, and the thing is like we said, well, you're at the base of Mount Washington, so I'm sure some people go, ooh, Mount Washington, windy, but you can go into the woods.
Yep.
And just kind of, I don't want to use the word escape the wind, but you're there in that beautiful protected area, and it must just be with the snow and the trees. I haven't been up
gorgeous.
there.
It's gorgeous. So, you know, I wanted to get people to get excited about our Nordic Meisters series today.
Let's talk about Nordic Meisters.
Nordic Meisters.
Hans was talking about that earlier.
Hans is coming.
He's going to be a Nordic Meister this year.
Yeah.
And then I was just reading the little blurb about it. So let's talk about Nordic because that sounds like a hoot.
Well, it's really fun. It's just a great community of people who come together and, you know, get out on our trails week after week in the wintertime. And, you know, for fitness, there's no better activity than Nordic skiing. So, you know, even if you're a runner in the summer or you're a bicyclist and maybe you're like, well, you know, you're training and you're like, maybe you don't have that thing that you do that keeps you right in shape.
Yeah.
You know, you can train inside and you can go on your treadmill and all that, but there's no better exercise in the wintertime than Nordic skiing. So, you know, we have the series open to everybody. I would say it's for beginners all the way to advanced. You can do a short course, you can do a long course, you can do it timed, or you don't even have to do it timed. You can just enjoy the camaraderie of people encouraging you to get out. You know, sometimes folks tend to, you know, say, oh, you know, I can't do it. I'm gonna just stay inside. It's too cold or whatever. But this is a good motivating community of people. Come on out, enjoy, and then go out on our trails, do your run, and then come back, have a cup of hot chocolate or, you know, a breakfast sandwich from our cafe.
Depending on the time of day.
Depending on the time of day.
But well, yeah, it is. I mean, I think that's the whole thing. It's just like the summer bike series. It's this great camaraderie. and just so much fun. And I think one of the things that I really enjoy about the Summer Bike Series, and from how you're saying this, it's the same thing. It's the encouragement. It's the It's the positive reinforcement. Asking, how'd you do? Where'd you go? Which trail did you take? That's one of the great things about it.
It is, and people, find themselves making new friends. We've had love stories from Nordic Meisters, people who've met each other because they've, connected Nordic skiing. It's really just, like you said, a wonderful, encouraging group of people.
Absolutely. Well, Hans, are you going to do like a love boat series, kind of, Nordic Meisters love boat? We'll get Captain Stubing there, and Hans goes, yeah, sure, Rob, whatever you say. Now, you mentioned about stopping and getting some food, because you got great food up there, too.
We do. So, we have our cafe there, and the cafe is always making, fresh to order breakfast sandwiches, bagels, toast, whatever, anything in the morning. And then for the afternoon, we have homemade sandwiches and soups. It's delicious. We have to make muffins. And
it's one of those things that sometimes people forget about. But really can make a big impact on your day, being able to stop. And one of the great things, of course, about Nordic is that, if you want to, you just swing back, you just come back to where you started from.
Yep. And the series is just a wonderful opportunity to meet new people and to just get out there and get some physical activity.
Absolutely.
Like I said, sometimes we tend to kind of hunker down and we kind of get a little one-tracked in the wintertime.
It's an individual thing, not a team.
That's right.
So if you're saying, I can't rustle up 12 people, you don't have to.
Nope.
It's just you.
It's just you, and you're really just kind of racing against yourself. You can watch your progression. It's 8 weeks, so week after week, you say, all right, your first week, maybe you push yourself, or maybe you don't. It's entirely up to you. And then the next week, you might say, I think I can do a little bit on this, and then it's your opportunity to work on maybe some different kind of techniques. And speaking of that, all Nordic Meisters are welcome to take one of our technique improvement clinics. We just had one in advance of the series this past week.
Yeah.
And I joined our ski school director, Sue Weems, on her clinic. And man, I learned so much about, different ways to ski, uphill or on the flats. And so we're offering anyone who signs up for Nordic Meisters to join one of those technique improvement clinics.
Well, that's cool.
Yep. So midway through the series, you can join and say, I've been wanting to work on this. And so it's a great opportunity to improve your skills as well.
And I think that's something to touch base on, because a lot of times I think people think, I'm just going to go out and just go in the snow and I know what to do. But taking a lesson for Nordic is, just like downhill. But people kind of expect it more with downhill. They don't expect it as much with Nordic, but the difference can be unbelievable.
Yes, just simple little things. When I was first starting out, classic skiing, I was like in alpine skiing, your baskets go forward. Well, in Nordic skiing, you don't want your baskets to ever go forward of your body. You want to keep them kind of pointed back, like in this direction.
Yeah.
And so it was just like a tiny little thing, because I was always flicking.
But what a difference, yeah.
What
absolutely.
A difference.
You just saved yourself a lot of time and effort.
It's the efficiency of it.
And you have lessons.
We do. We have lessons all the time. And actually, this is January's Learn to Ski Month.
Right.
So anybody who's new, come on up. We have discounted lessons on Mondays. Let me think about this. Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays, I believe. And then Wednesdays, throughout the whole season, we always have lesson, rental, and a ski trail package for $19. So you can always come up and get a lesson from us. And speaking of beginners, or anyone who's new, if you're new to Nordic Meisters, you've never done it before, there's kind of no excuse. You don't have your own equipment, you can use ours. So you say, I'd love to do the series, but I don't have any equipment. Again, you don't have any excuse. Like, come out and try it and use our equipment for the series.
And you have great equipment up there. I've used the equipment up there. In fact, I own the equipment from there. It is great equipment.
Yeah.
And so that can make a big difference too. I mean, I had Nordic boots that my wife and I bought in 1985. We felt it was time to replace them. Plus the mice had gotten to them. And what a difference. I mean, they're so comfy. It's like you can just wear them around the house. I didn't get slippers. I just wear my ski boots around the house. But.
Yeah, no, and we buy them new every year.
Right.
So right now our rental equipment is practically new. Just a couple folks been using it. So, like I said, no excuses. Just come on up, enjoy the Nordic Meisters series every Tuesday.
And one of the things you said, it's 8 weeks. So I'm doing the math in my head. So 8 weeks, it's going to go quick.
It does.
8 weeks puts us into the beginning of March.
It does.
And so it's going to be gone. So you got to get out there, while these conditions exist, get out there. I mean, as opposed to a couple years ago where, we weren't even on, they weren't skiing Nordic till probably the end of January or whatever it was. So
yeah, no.
Unbelievable opportunity. So if you've never done it, get on up there, take a lesson, try out the equipment, and just skate around, ski around.
Enjoy it. And then at the end of the series, we always have this big potluck with our award ceremony, and everybody who skis 6 weeks, whether or not you've done a better time or you're timed or not timed, it doesn't matter. Everyone gets a prize. And so we have a whole bunch of amazing sponsors, local businesses, companies, and also some kind of bigger national companies.
Yeah.
And so everyone gets something. So just come up, and again, it's this kind of big potluck party, and everyone hangs out. And if you haven't, again, maybe kindle that friendship or that, romance.
There we go. February 14th, up there at Great Glen Trails. We're gonna find out all about that. So, well, Lisa, thanks so much for coming by.
It's always great to be here.
It's always fun, and you can check out on the website Great Glen Trails, and find out any information. And really, there's basically no excuse not to be going out and trying Nordic this year.
Yep.
If any year, this is the year, you have no excuse.
Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. The skiing and the snow conditions are fantastic. And because you're out there working your body, you're staying nice and toasty and warm.
Absolutely.
So even when it's freezing cold outside, it's just a great activity to get out there.
And so much fun.
We look forward to seeing you all there.
And we'll be back here in a minute on White Mountains Today.